How are we doing there, team? Welcome back to the ABCDs of Sports podcast. I'm your team captain, Samit Anand. Ooh, very, very fun, exciting game today. You know why? Because it's Super Bowl week. Oh man, Super Bowl is one of those events that the world stops and watches and comes together and just enjoys the moment. So that we got a lot to go, and we're gonna have a special Super Bowl game today where we're gonna talk a lot about the Super Bowl per se. But before we get into there, first in our pre-game huddle, it's want to wish a very, very happy birthday to my beloved wife, Umar, because this is the week of February 3rd, and February 3rd is my wife's birthday, and I love her very much, and I hope she had a fabulous, wonderful day deep down. Love you so much. Thank you for everything that you do and all your love and support. Can't do it without you. Second, quick small updates about my life. This past weekend I finished the Disney half marathon weekend 10K, my first ever 10K. It was a crazy fun experience. I had to wake up super early. Woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday to get out there and be in line by 4 so we can start racing by 5. But after you cross that starting line, I mean, it takes a whole new level, and the energy and everything, and the positivity, and not just with all the other runners, but all the cast members that we call them, or people who work at Disney. They're called cast members, and the volunteers. I mean, characters. It's such a fun, lovely, positive atmosphere, a lot of, and like I said, a lot of fun. So if nobody you've ever looking for a first time one, because it's a pretty easy one and you're going through the parks, that's definitely one to do. Uh, Kids soccer update. My big guy Nahal is going to play in the round of 16 of the state cup for his age group this weekend. A little nervous because they're taking on a very tough Rebels team, but you know what? That they made it this far is incredible, and I wish them all the best with everything. Some crazy trades. Um, I mean, Los Angeles Lakers got Luka Doncic. Uh, the Dallas Mavericks got Anthony Davis in a crazy NBA trade. Actually, it's NBA trades we're going to be talking about for a little bit. Like I said, Lakers got Luka Doncic, Mavs got Anthony Davis. That was one of those that you'd never think ever you'd ever see in your life. It's nuts. We got De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs to join with Victor Wembanyama. We have Jimmy Butler leaving Miami and this crazy saga that was going on with the Miami Heat, where they were fighting and bickering, and him getting suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. He got traded to the Golden State Warriors and joining Steph Curry and Draymond Green. So that's all incredible. Also, I've wanted to say for a long time, it's been during all our games, we've been talking to so many cool teammates, and we've been taking a quick rapid fire tally sheet. So let's get to the tally sheet of where we're at with all that stuff. In the DDLJ versus Titanic, DDLJ is winning 7-3. In hip hop versus Bhangra, hip hop is winning 5-3. In Diljit Dosanjh versus Taylor Swift, it's Diljit winning 6-4. It's Statue of Liberty beating Taj Mahal 8-2. Xmas has, sorry, not Xmas, but Christmas has a 9-1 lead over Diwali. In a total blowout, Coffee is beating Chai 10-0. Ice Cream is beating Kofi 7-2. And Suits/Dresses is beating Lenga Shervani's 7-3. Well, that's our tally sheet. All right, it's time for our game plan. All right, our game plan. First, and starting off with our magic number, it's the magic number 14 because this is game 14. And We're going to stray from the norm here, and we're going to give it to Johan Cruyff. I don't know if any of you have seen Ted Lasso, but yes, it is the Johan Cruyff that was referenced in season 3. Johan Cruyff is the father of what we call total football. That is a type of philosophy and strategy that has totally changed soccer worldwide, where they don't say that you have 11 players that are in set positions, but you have 11 players that can play any position and are constantly changing. Started in the 1970s with the Dutch national team. Johan Cruyff was the catalyst for that. He implemented in Barcelona when he played there, as well as a little bit in Ajax before that, but mostly for the Dutch national team and Barcelona. And then Barcelona has totally implemented it and taken it on to a new perspective and taken new heights. Uh, the manager recently, Mr. Pep Guardiola, has really revolutionized and made it his own and made him the world class, the elite manager with that type of philosophy. So, but it all started with Johan Cruyff, who, by the way, wore number 14 when he was playing for the Dutch national team. Okay, some quick, cool, fun stuff about Johan Cruyff for stats wise. He was a 3-time Balloon d'Or, or what we like to say World Player of the Year. In 1974, he led the Dutch national team to the World Cup final, where, believe it or not, with that total football philosophy, the Dutch national team scored in the second minute off of a penalty kick. He didn't take it, but one of his teammates did, but he caused the penalty, and they scored in the second before any German had even touched the ball. Ironically, they lost that game 2-1. Um, and they didn't win the World Cup final. He also helped the 1978, uh, 1977 Dutch national team qualify for the 1978 World Cups, where they went to the World Cup final and lost to Argentina 3-1. But he didn't play in the 1978 World Cup, and we'll talk about that in one sec. He also, in 1999, was voted the European Player of the Century and got voted second player of the century in the whole world, behind, of course, Mr. Pele. Now, going back, he did not play the 1978 World Cup because in 1977, before that World Cup, there was a kidnap attempt against him and his family, and all that stress caused him to retire from the Dutch national team. Kind of sad that way. Otherwise, he would have probably even helped him win the World Cup. But his impact on the game of soccer will never be forgotten and will always live with me because of the style of play he helped create. All right, our game of the week. I mean, this is an easy one. None other than Super Bowl 59 this Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are looking for their third straight Super Bowl title. So, I mean, a true dynasty, but no team has ever won 3 straight. So they're looking to make history. Standing in their way, the Philadelphia Eagles, looking for their second ever championship. Players to watch for the Eagles, it's Mr. 26, Saquon Barkley, who is definitely their MVP, would not even be close to where they are at if it wasn't for his heroics with long runs. He had set, like we talked last time with Dr. Karan Rai about the incredible runs he's made and the records he's broken and hitting over 2,000 yards in a season rushing. It's remarkable. So he's going to be fun to watch, and he's a key factor if the Philadelphia Eagles win. On the other side, it's Mr. Patrick Mahomes. No ifs, ands, or buts about that one. I mean, we've talked a lot about him, the greatness, the will win, the competitiveness. It's amazing. If he wins, he would be quarterback number 4 to win 4 Super Bowls. He'd be joining Mr. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and Terry Bradshaw. That's it. That's the company. Four total quarterbacks to win four Super Bowls. Easy Hall of Fame status. The one thing that's going to differentiate him between all those guys is that he's going to do it before the age of 30. Yeah, right. I mean, that's greatness. All right. That was a lot there. But we're going to now do our fun Super Bowl stat special. Time for some fun Super Bowl stats, okay? No, just total random order. We're going to just hit you with it like crazy. No ifs, ands, or buts. And a lot at you, all right? It's going to come at you. First, a personal stat. This is going to be my 35th Super Bowl. I've been watching the Super Bowl since January 26, 1992. January 6th, by the way, it's my grandpa's birthday and 2 days after my birthday, so super special. But that Super Bowl was the Washington Redskins taking on the Buffalo Bills. Uh, Third Super Bowl in the four Super Bowl losing streak of the Buffalo Bills. But the Super Bowl, that one, the Washington Redskins beat them 37-24, and MVP was Mark Rippon. So I've watched every Super Bowl then, so I'm excited to continue the trend and the tradition. I can't believe it's already been that long, 35 years. Whew, crazy. All right. Now, some fun Super Bowl stats that we're going to get into. All right. First and foremost, the game is being played in New Orleans. That will be a record tying Super Bowl host by New Orleans at 11, tying it with Miami for the city for most Super Bowls hosted by a city. Uh, so Miami, New Orleans will be tied, followed by Los Angeles at 8. There's been only two teams that have hosted the Super Bowl in their own home stadium. That would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few years ago, followed by the LA Rams a few years ago. So only two. Um, Interesting enough, in the very first Super Bowl that was played in Los Angeles, it was played in January 15th, 1967. That was the Green Bay Packers who beat the Kansas City Chiefs with MVP Bart Starr and the Green Bay Packers dynasty. Tickets at that time were sold for only $12, and the game did not sell out. Yeah, that's incredible. $12 game set up didn't sell out. Only Super Bowl ever not to sell out in its history. We're at 59 now, and only one Super Bowl ever, the first one, has not ever been sold out. This weekend's ticket for a nosebleed seat, looking at the StubHub really quickly, that'd be section 626, row 21. As high as go is going for $3,183. And actually, I feel like that's kind of the cheap end because I've seen tickets go for like tens of thousands of dollars. So that's the that's incredible that way. That it's that way. But yes, 3,183. Some fun Super Bowl stats for you. Okay. The term Super Bowl actually did not start and was created until Super Bowl four, which was by Mr. Lamar Hunt, the Chiefs owner at that time. He coined it in 1969. That's when the term Super Bowl. Otherwise, it was just called the NFL AFL championship game for the first three Super Bowls. But after that, in 1969, when Lamar Hunt coined it, the term stuck and it's been there ever since. All right, I know a lot of us. We'll get into some fun Super Bowl actual on-field stats in a second, but here's some fun stuff off the field that I know a lot of us would be very interested in. A lot of us watch the Super Bowl for the commercials, and believe it or not, took a poll way back in 2022. They took a poll, and they say that 27% of people put on the poll that they only watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. 27%. That's about one third. One third of people are only watching that. And I'm sure half of it is for the Super Bowl halftime show, going to be played by Kendrick Lamar. A lot of you might not know, but the person who's been in the most slash performed Super Bowl halftime shows is Miss Gloria Estefan at 3. Pretty incredible. Some other fun stuff about the Super Bowl. Out of the 30 most watched telecasts in the history of the US, 27 are Super Bowls. Yeah, that's right. 27 are Super Bowls. The other three that, and people debate about whether two of them are telecasts or not, but let's just say for our purposes they are. The other three, with the Apollo 11 moon landing and Michael Jackson's halftime show and MASH being the three other ones in the top 30, MASH comes in at 11. If you take out Apollo 11, all the top 20 except for MASH are all Super Bowls. Pretty incredible. As we were talking about ads, currently for a 30-second ad at the Super Bowl, it costs $8 million. Oh my God, that's crazy. $8 million for 30 seconds of viewing. That's crazy. Absolutely nuts. All time, the most Super Bowl ads ever by a company belongs to Budweiser, who have spent $470.5 million in money paying for ads for it. That's that's so crazy. Another fun, quick stats. 1.45 million chicken wings are expected to be consumed on Super Bowl Sunday. 8 million pounds of guacamole and 12.5 million pizzas. That's a lot of food. But yes, worldwide, that's how much it's supposed to be. All right, some fun. Now we actually have to talk about the game itself and some fun stats about the game. All right. Now, no Super Bowl history is complete, of course, with quick talk about Mr. Tom Brady. Right. I won't go too much on it because this is not a Tom Brady love you fan club podcast. No, although we do admire him and he's the greatest of all time, no doubt. But let's talk about his greatness about the Super Bowl so that you can understand it, and then we'll get some other fun Super Bowl stats. Okay, so Tom Brady Super Bowl stats that you need to be aware of. He has the most wins all time at 7, more than any other team. He's the only player to win a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. He has the most appearances, again, more than any other team at 10 appearances. He has the most yards in a single game at 505. That was Super Bowl 52, the one that he lost actually to the Philadelphia Eagles, as we talked about that before. He has the most career yards at over 3,000 career passing yards, and that is 3 times more than any other quarterback. Can you fathom that? He has thrown 3 times more passing yards than any quarterback in the Super Bowl. That's how amazing he is. He has the most attempts and completions ever in a Super Bowl, and that was Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons, which is also the game that has the largest comeback ever at 25 points. He has the most passing touchdowns at 21, and he has the most Super Bowl MVP awards at 5, and he is the oldest player ever to win a Super Bowl. Woo! Oh my God, that's a lot. Going away from Mr. Brady, here's some other fun Super Bowl stats. Okay. The most appearances by player or coach in the Super Bowl belongs to Mr. Bill Belichick at 12. Yep, that is Tom Brady's coach. 10, 9 of them belonging to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady combination, but Bill Belichick 12. Most points scored in career belongs to Mr. Jerry Rice, Hall of Famer wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. The longest scoring play ever goes to Mr. Jacoby Jones, 108-yard kickoff return in the Baltimore versus San Francisco Super Bowl in Super Bowl 47. Most career touchdowns, Jerry Rice at 8. Also the highest in career receptions and receiving yards, but probably will be surpassed by Mr. Travis Kelce, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. Best completion percentage ever by a quarterback is Mr. Phil Simms of the New York Giants, 88% in Super Bowl 21. Career passer rating belongs to Mr. Joe Montana in the 4 Super Bowls that he won. Most career rushing yards, Mr. Franco Harris, Pittsburgh Steeler running back at 354. Most career rushing touchdowns, Mr. Emmitt Smith at 5, running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Most career interceptions, Mr. Chuck Howley and Rod Martin and Larry Brown. Chuck Howley and Larry Brown, both Cowboys defensive backs. Rod Martin, Raiders defensive back. Most career tackles, Mr. Rodney Harrison at 34 for a combination of the San Diego Chargers and New England Patriots. Most career sacks, L.C. Greenwood of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Most career field goals, and probably will be added to it, Mr. Harrison Butker, Kansas City with 9. He also has the longest field goal record. New England Patriots have the most team appearances at 11. Most consecutive appearances belong to the Buffalo Bills, about the aforementioned 4 consecutive losses, unfortunately. Most team wins for Super Bowls belong to the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 6. Lowest points scored by both teams in a Super Bowl belongs to Super Bowl 53 when at 16 points between the New England Patriots and LA Rams. You guys remember from game 1, that is the infamous one where I was at my buddy's wedding in India and watched it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Uh, Still remember, I can't believe it. I was like, what the heck is going on? Here are the teams that have never ever made the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Houston Texans, and the Cleveland Browns. So that's 4. 4 teams that have never made the Super Bowl. So 10 defensive Super Bowl MVPs. They belong to Mr. Chuck Howley, Mr. Jake Scott, Mr. Harvey Martin, and Randy White, Richard Dent, Larry Brown, Ray Lewis, Dexter Jackson, Malcolm Smith, and the latest was Von Miller in Super Bowl 50 and the last defensive player to win it. There's only been one special teams Super Bowl MVP ever. That will go to Mr. Desmond Howard, a kick returner in Super Bowl 31 when he played for the Green Bay Packers when they took on the New England Patriots. Is expected over $23.1 billion will be bet on the Super Bowl this year. Wow, $23.1 billion. Some fun, quick bets that are out there. One, whether you'll see a player or coach crying on TV. 2, will Mr. Travis Kelce propose to his girlfriend Taylor Swift? So, man, that will set off waves if that happens for sure. Well, there is a bet if Mr. Kendrick Lamar is going to bring any surprise guests for the halftime show. There's bets on how long the national anthem is going to take and if it's over 2 minutes or not. Also bets on how long the halftime show is going to take. Does it take over 15 minutes? Bets about who's going to win the coin toss. Bets about how many times or how much time Roger Goodell, the commissioner of NFL, is going to be shown on screen time. Same thing with Taylor Swift. Also, a bet about what color will be the Gatorade shower. So there's a tradition that the winning coach gets doused by Gatorade by his players at the end of the game after they win. So there's a bet about what color that is. I mean, that's just a small part of what Super Bowl is about, and in terms of betting that can go on there, that's not even a fraction, not even like 1% of how many bets are out there. But it's pretty fun stuff. All right, real quick history. We're gonna talk about the craziest Super Bowl plays that I've ever witnessed. No particular order. The Malcolm Butler last second interception in Super Bowl 49 to help the New England Patriots hold off the Seattle Seahawks when he intercepted a ball at practically the 1 yard line. The Philly special in Super Bowl 52 by the uh by the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New England Patriots in the first half of that Super Bowl. Uh, the David Tyree catch in Super Bowl 42 when the New York Giants beat the then undefeated New England Patriots and prevented them from being a a total undefeated season. So it was incredible. Gosh, you got to go back and check that out. The Mike Jones tackle in Super Bowl 34. It was the last play of the game, prevented the Tennessee Titans beating their St. Louis Rams at the time. So the Mike Jones played for the St. Louis Rams, had a last second game winning tackle where by pure inches the Tennessee Titans and the wide receiver at that time, Kevin Dyson, wasn't able to get a touchdown. Pretty incredible. San Antonio Holmes toe tap last minute catch for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Arizona Cardinals in Super Bowl 43. The Julian Edelman catch in Super Bowl 51 in the aforementioned Pats comeback win versus the Atlanta Falcons. James Harrison's 100-yard interception also in Super Bowl 43 for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Arizona Cardinals. And finally, the Saints of the New Orleans surprise onside kick in Super Bowl 44 in the New Orleans Saints versus Indianapolis Colts. Incredible plays. Oh, I have to say, we have a way of predicting who's going to win this game. The stat that has been pretty synonymous with predicting who's going to win the Super Bowl. 37 out of 58 teams, including 16 of the past 20 Super Bowl winners, have, for a percentage of about 64%, the winning team has worn white. Let me say that again. In the 58 Super Bowls that have gone by, including 16 of the past 20 Super Bowls, for a total of 64%, the winning team of the Super Bowl has worn white uniforms. And so this year, the Kansas City Chiefs are wearing white. And believe it or not, the Philadelphia Eagles won the coin toss on who to choose or what color they get to choose for it, and they picked green. I don't know why. When you have that stat there, that 60% when wearing white, they decide we're green, but well, white belongs to the Chiefs, and so therefore, prediction is the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl and make history by being the first team ever to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. I know a lot of us don't like that, including yours truly. You won't feel great, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta sit back and enjoy and watch history being made. For the first time ever watching that happen, and 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you're gonna say where you're gonna know where you were and remember what happened when that gets mentioned. So pretty cool. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me as always. You all have a wonderful Super Bowl. Good game, good sportsmanship, and lots of love as always.